Welcome to another episode, everyone. Candace Owens is having a sit down and she destroys AIPAC. I'm not a big fan of Candace Owens. I believe that she is a grifter, a sellout to the highest degree. Nevertheless, she does know her politics and has been getting into it with Erica Kirk and such. But here she's destroying AIPAC, the Israel lobbying group.
You connect a lot of dots between...
that really runs the country. But let's get into it.
Like Israel and media, right? But do you think that it's just capitalism? Like, don't you think a lot of times it's just business, and that's how business works, is that they're, like it's one of the side effects of capitalism.
If that were the case, so the reason why this is different is because Israel is actually the exception. They are the only country that's allowed to lobby Americans. Like everyone else has to register as a foreign agent and under FARA.
Like with AIPAC or whatever?
Yeah, so AIPAC, the backstory, by the way, before JFK got shot, he was fighting AIPAC. They were previously called, I'm blanking on this, you can look it up. And he was literally saying you have to register under the Foreign Act.
Is that true? Let's look it up.
1000% true, and you should look it up. We should fact check that live. He was fighting with what is today known as AIPAC. Was renamed AZCPA. I don't know what that stood for.
In 1959, AZCPA was renamed AIPAC and American Israel Public Affairs Committee, reflecting a broader membership and mission.
Yeah, so JFK told them that they had to register under FARA. And so American Zionist Council, that's exactly what it was called.
Okay, American Zionist Council was a pro-Israel lobby in the United States founded in 1949. It represented 9 nationwide Zionist organizations in matters related to...
See at the bottom there? In 1962, look at the last paragraph. In 1962,
President John F. Kennedy and his brother Bobby, as a U.S. Attorney General, forced the AZC to register as a foreign agent. In doing so, they were barred from making monetary contributions to U.S. officials. Who was barred? AZC?
Yeah, so AIPAC, for lack of a better term. They were called AZC back then, but continued to send out newsletters and hold events with a nonprofit tax exemption. Mm-hmm. And then what happened was he was shot. So he literally, they were writing him letters. You can find this. This is all this is available information. And he was like, you need to register, you need to register, you need to register. And then we told you to register. Why are you not registering? This makes no sense. And then AIPAC got lucky because he got shot and killed.
What also you could
So they are the reason why I'm bringing this up is not to further conspiracy theories.
Country?
They're the only country that's allowed to lobby Americans are not registered under the FARA Act. And so when you see these
under the what act?
FARA. So that's like if you're a foreign agent, you have to basically register, your communications are monitored, all of this stuff. But for whatever reason, Israel is an exception to this. And the reason is because JFK got shot, because otherwise they would have been under this. So that is the reason that they're allowed to do this. And so, when this... And then, of course, we're not allowed to read the files, but leading up to his death, he was having...
So, of course, this explains a lot. Now, AIPAC really donates a lot of money to these politicians here in America, and on both sides, Democrats and Republicans. And they have heavy influence on how this country is ran. There's a lot going on with that, and we're going to unpack it all.
Arguments with the Prime Minister, Ben Gurion. That's a fact, another fact. He was having heated arguments with Ben Gurion, and then look it up. JFK.
The Foreign Agents Registration Act is a U.S. law that requires people and entities working on behalf of foreign governments to register with the Department of Justice.
Mm-hmm. So it drives me insane to see these absolute frauds. Like when they go, oh, Russia spent $1 million, or whatever they said. I remember they came after Lauren Chen, and they're like, there is an idea that Russia spent money, and they'll say something like $26,000, or they spent $3 million, and influenced the election. And all of these people will be taking money from AIPAC. But they're like, oh, well, AIPAC got lucky. Well, JFK got shot.
But wasn't the Russia story that was figured out to be a facade, right?
But when you hear these people in your government saying this, you should know how fraudulent they are, because they all are taking money from Israel. And so it's like, yes, is Israel doing it legally because a president got shot? Sure, but it's wrong. A country should not be able to lobby to get what they want and control our congressmen. And you get to see them flex that muscle, TikTok and things of nature when they are now interfering with our speech, and they'll get laws passed really quickly. It allows literally a foreign country to make decisions in our nation. Lobbying should just not be allowed, full stop. So instead they go, oh, well, you're focusing on it because they're Jewish. No, you're the
Yes, that's exactly what they do. They lobby, and again, they influence the laws in this country. They get things done, AIPAC, because they're in the pocket of everyone in Congress. They're all influenced by these individuals. They all accept money from them, including Officer Tatum. All of them.
It's the only country that's allowed to do it. I would feel the same way if China, if there was a Chinese lobby
Is China
that was
allowed to do
spending.
it?
No, there's no other country that's allowed to do this but Israel. Only AIPAC. There's no other country that everyone else has to register under the FARA Act, and that changes things significantly. AIPAC is the only, American Israel PAC, whatever it is allowed to spend $100 million in our elections and not be called names. Like if could you imagine if Russia spent $100 million in our elections? If there was like a Russia PAC or a Chinese PAC, and they were just allowed to spend that kind of money to lobby and pay our politicians to say things and to believe in things, and that should make people angry. Like that should make people angry, and irrespective. Like I said, it could be any country.
Unless, right, I agree with you that it's amazing.
Or let them all do it.
Right. If like America is owned by Israel or something, or part ownership or whatever, just tell us that.
Right. Well, they don't want to.
Like that's a weird thing I don't understand. Like
then you wouldn't sign up for wars. You would start to question things in a different way. And so it becomes important for the government to keep Americans ignorant of how Congress works, what's going on, so that they believe their congressman when they go on a rant and say, Israel's our friend and ally, and they don't know how to just very easily look up and see whether this guy's taking money.
All very true.
Or when someone says, this vaccine's going to save your life, and they don't know, what's happening.
On a side note, look at that big ass ring she got. That boy put one on her. Jeez. Damn. Making it hard for the average Joe out here, man.
With the CDC, or people don't even have basic civics understanding, but that's by design.
Like, because I don't like what Israel, like their space in Gaza, right? Like that to me is just like seems super tyrannical. But didn't they just come up with a thing today about the ICC? They can't prosecute Netanyahu.
Record, edit, and share your content all in one place with Riverside.
I'm not supposed to have any ads. I got the premium. I don't know why.
Because he runs shit.
Is that today?
Yeah, he's like the ultimate grand gangster. He's like, even when they catch him doing the crimes, and we created this court for exactly what it did, they said, you can't do this. Then they say, well, just cancel the courts. Can you imagine being like that much of a worldwide gangster? It's crazy.
Right. And I wish they would just say, look, we're still letting everybody be gangsters, because that's what I don't like about the media a lot of times. There's this thing. It's like we all need to look out for each other, and we need like climate change, and we need to make sure that everybody has a safe place to urinate and all those things, which, yeah, I think all those things are important or worth discussion. But at the same time, you'll have countries that are still playing this Fidel Castro type of role. So it's like, why do we keep saying all these little things are important, but you can just say, hey, we're still in colonial, or we're still in the old school days, and shit is what it is.
Yeah.
So fucking mark off your fence yard and protect your fucking shit, because that's what countries are doing. Like that's how they're operating, but they're trying to create ambiance that makes us feel like we can't operate like that, or you're a bad person if you do operate like that.
Right. They're actually morally pretentious. They're pretending it's like, oh, we've just gotten, we're so dignified, we would never do this. Look, if it's the rules of the jungle, it's the rules of the jungle. Let us know.
Right. That's it. That's my biggest thing.
It's this illusion.
And that's exactly what it is. It's the rules of the jungle. They're bullying these other people. They're bullying these other countries. It's the, we're big, we're mighty, we're strong, we have the strongest military, and we're going to come and get what we want. But they try to have the American people, us, believe in something different, that everything is peaches and cream. And that's what they're saying here, that if it's up, if it's war, if you guys are just over here bullying people, and we need to prepare ourselves for the retribution, then let us know. Don't tell us something else and mislead the people. But this is what the government does and has been doing for generations, misleading the people.
Of we're better, we would never, because of World War II. You're doing all of it, right? You're violating every single one of these codes that you put into place. And if you're going to do it because I'm big and you're small, then say that. So like the small guys know what's up. It's the rules of the jungle.
That's my thing. I just want to know what the rules are. If
Violating
America is owned by China and Israel.
You've been violating every rule. Yes, America is owned by Israel. China has a lot of influence as well.
And Taiwan, just tell me that. Let me know, like, because at a certain point, if you keep,
what you're talking about, by the way, there's a term for it. It's called real politicking.
Real politicking.
Yeah, so I did
That's
like
all I want.
a
I
foreign
just wanna
policy
know.
paper. It's like I'd rather know that we're working with cartels in South America because we are, right?
Yeah.
And like that's cool, CIA, like whatever. But just like please stop the pretentious. Your face. Oof. Oof,
Yeah,
that's the
scoffing.
American government. It's the scoffing. We would never. Yes, you would. Yes, you have, and yes, you are. And people that know real politicking.
Let me look at real politicking.
Yeah.
Is the approach of conducting diplomatic or political policies based primarily on considerations of given circumstances and factors rather than strictly following ideological, moral, or ethical premises.
Right. And so if they're like, here's the thing, cartels are getting big in the South. And so, morally, we shouldn't work with the cartels. But also, if we let the cartels keep growing and El Chapo keep growing, then you know what? Then Mexico could become stronger than us. So we're going to do deals with the cartel. Like that's realpolitik, right?
Or say, we're Israel is we are part.
Because, of course, they have deals with the cartels. Of course, the CIA helped bring narcotics, sanction and subscribe to narcotics being brought to the country. So this is what they're talking about, that the government has their hands dirty, has blood on their hands, and yet they pretend not to all of the time. But they are involved. You need to understand what this government, your government, is involved in your name, in the name of the American people. We're going to expose it here.
To the end, and this is how it is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of conflicted about Trump, like with his stance on Gaza, right? To me, that's like,
I totally disagree with him on it. And it's like, it's hard to reconcile it in many ways. It's hard to reconcile because I see so much hypocrisy in terms of when we say America first, for whatever reason, we have this magic carve out. And you cannot pretend that that's not because AIPAC spends $100 million in our election. And this gets back to what we were talking about, whether it's Big Pharma, whether it's Israel, everyone's for sale in DC. And so I have been very disappointed with Trump on his perspectives about Gaza. I have been disappointed, by the way, he's the last person I'm disappointed with, because I've been disappointed, as we saw all last year, with the conservatives, people that say they're Christians, who are condoning this on the basis of what? Like you're saying, oh, well, they're Muslims, so who cares? And that gets into our programming, which I've spoken about in my podcast, of this 9/11 programming, where we just don't see Muslims as like human life. And to me, to speak about Gaza and talking about casinos and hotels, and these people just lost their entire families. Yeah. It's so far removed from humanity, and I think it's wrong. And I'm tired of America being used.
Well, that's the American way. They don't care about that. They sanction these wars, again, in our name. The American government, they sanction. We're going to unpack this. I don't know how long this channel is going to last before they try to shut it down. We're going to get into it. We're not going to pull any punches over here. Politics left and right. This is what they do. This is what the country does, and this is what the country has been doing. All of these wars, they start themselves.
As Israel's piggyback, for whatever reason, everyone can critique every other country for taking money from us. And then there's just, everyone's blind when it comes to Israel. And obviously I paid a very heavy price for saying that last year, but I don't care, because I am truly someone whose values have never been up for sale. Like, I don't care. I will burn everything to the ground and rebuild it. I have to be able to sleep at night, and to see those Palestinian children, and the images are seared into my brain. The screaming, the crying, the bleeding, the stuff that we saw on X for the first time, largely thanks to Elon freeing the bird, and really realizing how much we had been lied to about what was happening in that region. It was very easy for me to say, take whatever you have to take from me. I have to be on like the human side of things.
I think it's become both sides of the aisle now just see that, human people just feel like that it's just wrong.
Of course.
What's happened is wrong. Like probably a year ago, people were afraid to even say that. And now it is what everybody is saying. Like even Piers Morgan is saying it on his show now. Like people are saying it's obvious that you can't go and annihilate and genocide this culture and make them disappear. And then Trump to come on top of it and say they're going to build, you're going to go on a lazy river where there's bodies of like, who could even go to that?
And what's so crazy is the mainstream media thinking that we're so stupid that they're going to condition us to believe that to not support the ethnic cleansing, they're then going to mine our like preconditioned beliefs about the Holocaust and be like, oh, well, a Jewish person died. So if you don't agree with what we're doing over here, then you're a person that wants more Jewish people to die. It's like, this is an evil way to try to socially engineer what you want, because actually it's precisely because of what I learned growing up about Holocaust and ethnic cleansings that I do not support what the state of Israel is doing. And you're trying to convince me that it means that if anybody's been wronged in the past, they can't wrong people in the future. You're also wrongly conflating like a Jewish American. Why? You have nothing to do with what's going on in Israel. This is a foreign country. No more than if right now we were standing up to a genocide that was happening in Ghana.
Yeah.
And then when I'm going to be like, oh, well, if you don't support what, the president of Ghana wants to do, then you want American slavery back. I'm like, it's like, what are you talking about? Just because I'm black and like maybe my family is from Ghana, why on earth would I not be able to critique a foreign country for something that they're doing that is so objectively wrong?
Yeah.
And so it's disappointed me as someone who just had so much respect and belief in the conservative movement and believing that it was a principled movement, and Christians as well.
Well, I don't know how you believe that it was a principled movement, the conservative movement. And again, I am an independent. I don't believe in none of that nonsense. It's all been tainted. It's all putrid, putrescent, poisoned. Democrat, Republican, left, right, ultra right, Groyper, doesn't matter. It's all been tainted. They're all in bed together. Period. Candace knows this, but she was a conservative, or I guess maybe still is. She supported them, as she said. She believed that they were principled. How did you believe that they were principled? When have they ever showed you this, is what I want to know. When has America ever been great for black people? Make America great again. When has America ever been great for the black man, for the black woman in this country? It never has. It's a slap in people's face when you walk around talking about make America great again, but we know what you mean. You mean take it back to the times when black people had absolutely no rights. Well, let me tell you, those times are long gone. The honeymoon of lies is over. We will not sit idly by and be your victims and your prey any longer. We're going to expose you and fight you.
I've been very disappointed in Christians who are trying to use this like biblical argument for just, well, no matter what,
Are people doing that?
Yeah, it's pretty sick, man. It is very sick. They're basically saying that the Bible's, the Bible will bless those who bless Israel. And I'm like, okay, so we have a country who first and foremost doesn't have to give us back our pedophiles. Literally, they have this weird rule that you can go if you're Jewish and hide as a pedophile. And actually an amazing Jewish organization did the work there. You could pull it up. I think it was on CBS. I forgot what the name of the Jewish organization, but they went to Israel and was like, why are we harboring pedophiles?
So there was a Jewish organization that they had pedophiles.
They did amazing. No, they were not the pedophiles. They did the investigation to show how people are how like people who have molested children in America, if they're Jewish, they can then make their trip to Israel and be protected by the government. And Israel doesn't have to bring like.
That shouldn't be surprising to anyone watching this. Everyone protects these PDF files, these chomos. The Catholic Church has been protecting them all the way from the Pope on down. I know some people are not going to like that statement, but it is what it is. It's the truth. It happens in all of the churches. look at the people that are in the Epstein files that they refuse to release. Democrats and Republicans, high-powered individuals. So it's no secret or no surprise that they would accept them back over there in Israel, these PDF files, and give them a safe haven, because many of these individuals, not just in Israel, but in the government, subscribe to this sort of behavior. They sanction this. They're part of it. They believe in this. That's why you see them all dating younger women. All of their wives are younger. That's because of their propensity and their affinity for a younger woman. Sick and deranged individuals is what they are. And until you understand that, you'll never be free. Trying to reason with people who are sick and cannot be reasoned with because they're sick.
They literally don't have to,
Exposing.
CBS News, that second one.
What more proof do you need that they're sick?
How Jewish American
You will not
pedophiles
find a single person who says that that's wrong.
hide from justice in Israel. But can't they hide? Can't most people say if you are, so these are people that are Israeli citizens?
No, they can then become Israeli. So they're American, right? So if they just hop, if they're being on a trial, you get to Israel, they'll protect you. And so they went to where all these, pedophiles are, and spoke a lot about, this, or I can't remember the name of the organization, but they did amazing work there. Jewish Community Watch, that's what it is. And so that's what I mean, where it's like there's also this wrong conflation that annoys me as well, because you have Jewish organizations who will objectively say this is wrong. They recognize they are Americans. They don't support pedophiles. And yet the mainstream media is trying to conflate them and make them think that they have to defend the actions of this state. And yeah, if you even talk about this, so say it's anti-Semitic, talk about this. What are you talking about? You're taking billions. That's the difference here. This is a country that is taking billions and billions and billions. It's an American welfare state, And CBS jumped on it. A CBS News investigation has found that many accused American pedophiles flee to Israel, and bringing them justice can be difficult.
Okay, has been trying for years to find Caro and help bring to justice. So Jimmy Caro, he's a wanted man and is considered dangerous, accused of assaulting a 9-year-old girl in Oregon in 2000. He fled to Israel before authorities in the U.S. could apprehend him. But is this just one guy?
No. So this is a story about how they are doing this. Like, it's the main.
This is who they are protecting. This is who Israel's protecting. People who attack 9-year-old girls. Sick. They're all sick. The attacker and the people who protect them, they're all sick. They all believe in this. They all do it. They're all sick. You better protect your children around these people, around these congressmen, these presidents and vice presidents and all of them. They're all sick. Every last one of them. Every single last one of them. A fascist regime is what we are under right now. Make no mistake about that. And it's time for people to fight back against this tyranny. Now.
Story is like that they were investigating is that there's so many people that did this.
Why do they allow it?
Because they have special consideration and they are not allowed, they don't have to give us back our pedophiles. I don't know. I never understand these random Israeli loopholes. And it's ridiculous. And the fact that they can just call people anti-Semitic, it's just like a sweeping allegation. How dare you notice that this is happening over here? You anti-Semite. And it's like, we have every right to critique this nation because you take money from us, especially, right? That means when we go to work, and taxes are being taken away, we're paying to support this. And then we're being gaslit by the media.
I'm sure I'll be called that and much more here on this channel. I'm none of that. I don't have a problem with any white person other than the white supremacists. Let's make that clear now. Everyone else is good. If you're a white person that's a racist, a white supremacist, if you dislike me and my people, then I feel the same about you. I do not like you either. Understand that.
Who's telling us that critiquing them in any way is an act of hatred for Jews, which is just such a nonsense.
Oh, I don't like that Netanyahu guy, man.
I hate him.
That guy seems like an evil guy to me, and I think he's seemed like that to most people now because of...
He's very evil. He's extremely evil. But he has complete immunity. Over here in America, they're protecting him because they're all in his pocket. The country has been sending billions of dollars over there to Israel.
I mean, mostly I think it's just like nobody wants war or anything, and we're lucky to live in a place where, you know, like Tennessee's not at war with Kentucky, so there's not like the risk every day or night of things flying over, you know, the fence. But I've thought that America is a kind of like a shell company sometimes, but maybe it's always just been that way. Like, that's the thing. Like, maybe it's always been that way. Maybe it isn't. I just would like to know what it is, right? So then it's like you can operate within the reality of things.
Yeah.
But then also people say that, like, well, why do you think there's such a strong relationship between the two countries then?
Blackmail. I think blackmail. And I think this is the reason why we don't get to open the Epstein files. We don't get to open the JFK files. And I think it's a form of gaslighting us to pretend that our special friend and ally isn't just I mean, and by the way, parking aside America, other countries too. You investigate anything. I mean, I'm investigating Brigitte Macron, and Israeli blackmail comes up in Morocco. Israeli blackmail comes up in. So to pretend that we don't know that Israel is involved in blackmail operations is foolish. And again,
I think all countries are probably involved in them.
And I think that they have been like they have gotten it down to a science. And there's no question in my mind that like sexual blackmail is what Jeffrey Epstein was involved in. And I don't know if that means these, you know, people don't know when they go to these parties that the girls are underage, and then it's like, haha, we've got you on tape, whatever it is. And we can even, taking a look at the Diddy case, you know, blackmail, these powerful blackmail operations are definitely operating. And
that's actual blackmail too.
Yeah, it's true blackmail. I mean, if you have hidden cameras and you're capturing people doing drugs and sleeping with underage people. So I think these are blackmail operations, and I think they've been going on for decades in America. I think it was Jeffrey Sachs who spoke really well about that, the history of that on Tucker Carlson's show. And he's Jewish, and that's what I hate about it. It's trying to make Jewish Americans think that they have to defend the country is so ridiculous. I am not required to, if my family goes back to Uganda, I'm not required to defend Uganda as a state. I'm sorry, I'm an American, and I think what you're doing is wrong. If it doesn't really matter, you know. And you're right to say that it's sort of this circumstance where everybody knows something is going on, and they think they're just going to keep gaslighting us. It's so weird. Like they're just going to go, nothing's going on. Nothing. There's just everybody woke up one day and decided to be Hitler. Like that's what the media is basically accusing us of, for like noticing a lot of dead people, like a lot of dead women and children. And that's failing. And by the way, I think that is the reason. I don't regret them doing that, because it's the reason why podcasts like the mainstream media, you know, this like effort to just keep smearing, libeling people for noticing basic human things. And I don't regret it, because I think it's the reason that trust with them has been fractured. I'm grateful that people no longer believe them. I'm grateful that now people are going to independent podcasts, and when we go on to Spotify, you see like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens. That means that for holding on to just like basic human values and being willing to talk about issues in a way and not pretend that your audiences are stupid and not seeing what you're we've earned their trust, you know. And I don't want to fumble that ball. Like I want to always say, even if I don't know something, and sometimes I can't speak on it, that I don't know everything, but I'm willing to find out before I speak on it, or at least have the conversation and not treat you like you're an idiot and I'm like the authority. Yeah,
I just can't learn at a fast rate. That's one of my biggest issues, I think. Speaking about Epstein, right? How do you
What if you could taste the movies?
We turned that idea into an $11.3 million business with Wix.
How do you know he's not just a Jewish guy who was being perverted or whatever, and that he was doing business? Like, there's no real connection that he works for Israel, though.
Well, he had passports. Yeah, so, and then it's also his ties to Ghislaine Maxwell, Ghislaine's father, Robert Maxwell. The whole Mossad attended his funeral. He died in very weird circumstances. I don't think even people who are pro-Zionist would deny that he was obviously Israeli-American intelligence. And he had weird passports. I mean, he had like a Saudi Arabian passport, an Israeli passport, an American passport.
Oh, he's perving then.
And yeah, and under different names, by the way. He had working passports.
Damn. Look at this. Oh, Epstein. Look at all these damn passports. This one must have been revoked. Look at this. Damn. This is bananas. Damn, man. A cold operation he had going. And by the way, he did not unalive himself, Epstein. He knew too much, about to expose too many people. That's why they're trying to still keep these Epstein files covered up. And so far been successful. Imagine the outrage. All of these victims, young children included, and yet you won't release the names of the people who were involved in abusing these people? What kind of country is this? What kind of government is this? What kind of nonsense is this? Kash Patel, director of the FBI, is concealing the Epstein files, covering up for Trump. We are going to unpack it all.
These different countries with different names. You can't just get that. You know what I mean? You can't just get these passports without being connected to the intelligence services. And it was never made clear why he was so rich. So who was giving him all that money? Was this like black ops, our tax dollars going to give him this illusion of wealth and power so that he would party with all of these billionaires? And yes, you're right. Blackmail operations happen all across the world. I think America, in terms of just how America has been seized, that's the only explanation for how Israel's able to expand with such a small population. And somebody has to be fighting their wars. Somebody has to be funding them. We're funding them. So I think we've just become like the piggy bank to them.
But how do you keep your Jewish friends but have issues with like Israel and stuff like that? How do you manage that?
I haven't, not even one Jewish friendship has ended because it's very weird. Like the purpose of these advocacy groups.
And Jewish agents set this up today too, I want to know.
Yeah, but that's the point. Once you know people, they're not going to fall. You think I grew up in a very Jewish town. I grew up just outside of New York City, and all my best friends growing up were Jewish. It just happened to be the way that it was. And so, like, you're not going to convince them. These people that, like, I was at their Rosh Hashanah dinner. Like, I know Jewish prayers, and the Jewish families that I worked for in New York overnight. That Candace turned into Adolf Hitler. Like that actually is being sold.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's just like, they're not going to buy that. You know what I mean? So it's stupid. But the other thing is that they haven't yet worked through, I think, this new generation of smear tactics, like the people that are employing it now, people like Barry Weiss, they haven't quite figured out that once people have a platform that's big, like if people are watching your show every single day, and I say, actually, Theo Von is an avowed racist, like he is the second coming of whoever, he just wants slavery back. You're not just condemning Theo Von, you're condemning the millions of people that listen to him, and they get mad because they know they're going to be like, I listen to his show every day. What are you talking about? Like he says raisins are, you like raisins because they're grapes that have been through shit. That's a Theo Von quote.
Yeah, I would never do slavery, dude. I have fucking 3 employees. I can barely handle.
But if I had advocacy groups and tons of money, I could just be like, write articles that say Theo Von hates black people. Okay, we could do it, but at the end of the day, people that listen to you know better and they get angry, and all it does is it breaks them away from trusting the mainstream media more because they are listening to you every day. So I have the confidence in my followers. They know me. They know who I am. I don't hate anybody. I just hate liars, and they come in all different shapes and sizes and races and religions. You can find you a liar anywhere. So.
Yeah. Well, I do think, because there's also a lot of great things that I see, like in like a lot of Jewish families, they value education.
Right.
They invest in their children. Mm-hmm. Those are like some of the things that they do super well. They work together, right? Like a lot of Jewish guys that I know, they'll connect you with another Jewish guy to work with or something, like they help their group, and that's something that I feel like other groups could learn how to do as well. You know, that's something that I think I
learned my work ethic I got from 2 Jewish men. I worked in private equity for 4.5 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that's
in
why it's
municipal bonds?
Not in municipal bonds, in private
got
equity.
Into some. Mm-hmm. It's going pretty, it is, it's, what do you mean it's going good? It's set percent.
Yeah. So, but they pretty much like, you can't live in New York City and hate Jews. They're literally everywhere. But that's kind of been one of the worst things about the politicizing of this. Is exactly what you're talking about. My perception of Jewish people is being someone who grew up in New York, that they work hard, they grind, they fight, they love. You can get into an argument with them. They don't take themselves seriously. You can say whatever and then be out to dinner. And to see the branding of that now, like this like victim mentality.
Oh, there's a beautiful group right there, you guys.
All right. That was a lot. That was a mouthful right there. But as I said, we're going to unpack it all. We need to understand AIPAC. We need to understand the influence that they have over the country. We need to understand how that influence affects us, affects our daily lives. We need to understand this government and why they are in bed with AIPAC to begin with. We need to understand all of this stuff in order to navigate what is going on in this country and to combat it. That's what we're here to do. We're going to break this stuff down. That's it, period. All right, that was Candace Owens. What show is this, man? Let me get this dude his credit right here. The Theo Von Clips. That's the name of that channel right there. Theo Von Clips. I'm sure I'll be doing some reactions to his channel coming up soon. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Oh, AIPAC. Oh, Candace Owens. Stay safe, stay free, and power to the people.